It's Wednesday. We're taping the NFL Presidential Address Week 1. Kelly, Stewart, and myself. And, every show you see me, I open up with just me. Just me with the green screen and a nice image in the background. But I can't start a show like that when Kelly Stewart is on with me. Kel, how are you?
Prez, life is really good. So wait, all I see is in a green screen. What image do you actually have back there?
Dolly Parton making out with Chris Christopherson.
That sounds about right. Wouldn't expect anything less from
you. Dolly Parton has the number one hits of all time. She's written. Anyway, nobody cares. It's the NFL show. Kel, we're taking apart every single game on the board. We're going to start with the Thursday night game. We're going to talk about that right this minute. Then we're going to go to a commercial break. Then we're going to talk about Marco and VR's show and a little bit of small talk. And we are going to keep this show to under an hour.
We're going to say over an hour, minus 130.
Okay, I'll take that bet, given that I can just stop it at the 59-minute mark. Kelly, Stewart, Chicago, -3, hosting Green Bay, Thursday night game. The over and under is 46.5. It's always -3. It'll be -3 for Green Bay at home. It'll be -3 for Chicago when they host Minnesota. We're going to see a whole lot of -3s. And I'm going to tell you right now, right off the bat, I'm going to take the dog in almost every matchup in this, in the triple rivalry between Minnesota, Chicago, and Green Bay. I think all these teams are very, very even. So I'm going to take the points. But I really like the total in this game, and I'll talk to you about it in a sec. What are you doing?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Prez. The NFC North is just such a great rivalry, and these teams are, you're right, it's those three, and then Johnny Detroit's Detroit Lions way down here. So you're right. I think taking the points is the right side. I don't know if I'm going to get involved in this game. I don't really love it. And I'm also mad that I could have had a 3.5. So for me at 3, I think I'm just going to sit back, watch, maybe have a second half play.
Yeah, Kel, I like the under in this game. 46.5 now is a pretty low total, but I think Chicago is going to run the ball a lot. And I think Green Bay's defense is going to be a lot better than we saw in the last few years. I know they have no edge rushers, and I think they're going to struggle to sack the quarterback, but they're going to get a lot of hurries, and they're going to be a tough team to run against. Blake Martinez, inside linebacker, he is really underrated. People do not talk about this guy. He's good for 9 to 11 tackles a game, which is, right there below Luke Kelce.
Keekley.
You know me and my pronunciations. Keekley. You took him in our fantasy football draft, and you took him at a great spot. I was very impressed with that. But anyway, I like the under in this game, Kel. I like Green Bay, and I like the under. So that's sort of where I'm at. We've got a ton of games to talk about. Let's jump into a commercial break real quick, come back, a little bit of small talk, see how you're doing. You're running a proxy service. You're so busy. You're on Bleacher Report. So much to talk about. But real quick, a commercial break. We'll be back, guys, in 30 seconds. Hey, everybody, it's the Prez. Thanks so much for watching our show. The show means so much to both Kelly and me. Probably a whole lot more to me because Kelly does like 700 shows a year and all I am is the Prez. Long story short, Bobby Liggs, he was the number one NFL handicapper at Wager Talk and Sports Memo last year. Listen to these numbers. This is not a joke. 49 wins and 28 losses. 49 and 28 on the NFL season last year. He made 75 units of profit. His 5% plays were 8 and 2. These numbers are insane. His regular price package for his NFL season and playoffs is $795. You can get him for only $399. Use the promo code Bobby399, and trust me when I tell you, there is literally no better promotion that we're going to offer on this show all year. This guy is rolling money out of his house His NFL is better than anybody's on the planet, and you can get it for $3.99. Use the promo code Bobby399. Kel, I heard you laughing in the background. What's up?
Nothing. You just make me laugh a lot. You're right. I am a busy girl, but I don't think 700. I think 700 might be. Oh, no. That's 2 shows a day. Yeah, I probably do 700 shows a year.
Yeah, all I am is just one of them. But for me, Kel, doing a show with you, it means the world. You like the shirt?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because I only have you on the little screen so that I can see all the lines and stuff behind me. But is it cold already in Canada or what?
Let's move on. So you're at the Bleacher Report. You do like 30 videos every Wednesday for Wager Talk, and now you have added a competitor video to the NFL Presidential Address. It breaks my heart, but will likely pad my bank account as I'm one of the key owners of WagerTalk.com. So I can accept a broken heart for more money. Tell us about the show.
Sometimes those things go hand in hand. Money, broken heart. Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's really exciting. Me, Marco, VR. It's going to be called Bet on It. Basically, taking 2 of the stars from a former podcast. They're going to do their own thing. It's going to be in the studio where we film all the other Wager Talk videos. And I'm just going to be front and center. I'm going to be asking some tough questions. I'm going to hopefully be getting some good answers and giving out some great information.
Yeah, and it's a very different style of show to ours. I mean, their stuff is going to be
absolutely.
Very heavy on trends and systems, situational plays, sandwich plays, and that type of a thing. Our show is really more seeing eye test and fun. I think everyone should listen to both and comment, guys. Comment on all of the shows. We love those comments over at YouTube. And I know I spoke to Marco. He's going to be responding to a lot of comments this year, and I always respond to comments. Kel, I hand the show over to you. Take it.
All right, let's go. Start with Sunday morning, Atlanta at Minnesota. Atlanta opened 4.5, now down to 4. Total 47.5, 48, depending on where you're shopping here in Vegas. This was early on one of the only favorites I was looking at betting this weekend. What are your thoughts?
Well, Kel, this is a really interesting game, and I like both the side and total in this game. A couple of quick trends for you guys because I am now competing with Marco in VR. Atlanta.
I was going to say what?
I got to throw a little bit in. Listen, we're still going to be more fun than them. That I guarantee you. Plus, you won't be wearing a tank top on their show, so... 1-0.
You're correct.
Prez.
It's casual Wednesday.
1-0 Prez. Atlanta, look, 4-12 against the spread on the road in the last 2 years. That is not a good number. Minnesota, 19-5 against the spread as a home favorite. Those are good trends. Throw them out the window.
I
like Atlanta. Here's the bottom line, Kel.
Okay.
I'm high on both of these teams. I said this to you in our NFL preview show that we posted last week. I like Minnesota. I like them to win the division. I think they're plus 240. And I like Atlanta. And I like them to win the division. And they're plus 350. Great game. I think probably the best game on tap this week. Here's the way I'm looking at this. I think these teams are very evenly matched. I think you've got Thielen and Diggs as the wide receivers in for Minnesota. You've got Jones, although we're still waiting to hear if he plays, but I expect him to play. And the line expects him to play, Kel. We got Jones and Ridley as the wide receivers in Atlanta. We've got Cook coming out of the backfield in Minnesota. We got Freeman coming out of the backfield in Atlanta. Ryan is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. Zimmer is a better head coach.
I would agree with that.
I think the Minnesota defense is slightly better than the Atlanta defense, but I actually think the Atlanta defense will be much better this year, especially with Deion Jones back. The bottom line is I think this is a field goal game, and for that reason, if I'm going to get +4, I'm going to take Atlanta. I also like the over in this game, Kel. I think Atlanta's offense is going to be unstoppable, and I'll tell you, with Kirk Cousins being in the second year with Minnesota, with those wide receivers, with a great tight end, with Delvin Cook being healthy, I think we're going to get a lot of points in this game. I think we are going to get into the 50s. I like Atlanta in this spot, and I like over the total.
Okay, it's moving along. NFC East rivalry. Washington at Philadelphia. The whole world's going to put Philadelphia in their survivor pool this week. I don't know what I'm getting from Washington. That is my absolute and utter problem with this team. I know that we saw glimpses last year that, hey, this team is getting better. Dwayne Haskins, we don't know when we're going to see him. I'm assuming probably by week 4. That being said, I think this is a stay away game for me. Maybe lean towards the over 46.
Yeah, so I don't have an opinion on the total in this game. I really need to see what Washington is going to do, and I agree 100%. This is a total stay away game for me as well, but I do have an opinion, and my opinion is that if a gun is held to my head, I'm going to take Washington. And why? We've seen these NFC East teams for decades now, and it doesn't matter if Troy Aikman is leading Dallas and Trent Dilfer is leading Washington. These games are always closer than they appear. They're always closer than we expect them to be. And the other thing is, it's week 1, and for a team to cover a 10 spot without their offense in full swing is tough. I think Philadelphia has a better chance of covering -10 against Washington, say in week 6. But I'm going to lean on the dog here, Kel, because I don't expect Philadelphia's offense to be in sync, and that's a lot of points. I'm not betting this game, but my lean is on Washington at +10.
Yes, I agree with you. Ralph tweeted something yesterday, and of course I can't find it right now, but I was looking for it, about basically double-digit dogs week 1, and they're an abomination. So I feel like it's probably a stay-away game or look towards the dog. All right, Buffalo at New York. You mentioned rivalry games. I feel like this one's usually hovering around the 3s as well. Total 41. One of the lower totals of the week. Second lowest total at 41. So what are your thoughts? I think I'm higher on the Bills than the Jets this season. I know that they're pretty competitive. If you look at them from the eye test, your thoughts on Buffalo?
Well, look, we
New York?
had a big line move on this over. It did come out at 38.5, and now it's been bet up to 41. And the line has also dropped a little bit towards Buffalo with a consensus opening line of 3.5. Now we're at 3. And Kel, I mean, for me, it's really interesting. These teams play against each other twice every year. And they split last year, but Buffalo completely dominated. One game, this is not a joke. One game, Buffalo had a 451 to 199 yard edge. That's insane. And the next game, they put up 368, where New York put up 248. Again, in keeping with, for some reason, these 3 games we're talking about all division rivalry games. The Green Bay and Chicago game, I'm going to take the dog. The Atlanta-Minnesota game, I'm going to take the dog. The Washington-Philadelphia game, I'm going to take the dog. And here again, I look to play the dog. But what I really like the most in this game is the over. I think Buffalo's defense is good. I think they could be a top 15 defense in the league. And I especially think they're going to be exceptional when snow comes around. They're going to be playing this game in really pristine weather, and I think the New York Jets' offense is going to be real tough. They're going to move the ball. They've got Bell coming out of the backfield. Anderson is questionable, but I think he'll play at wide receiver, and he's really, really fast. Darnold is a good quarterback who throws the ball. He's a bit of a gunslinger like Brett Favre. I think 41 is a real low number here. I actually really like the over. The over does suggest New York Jets would cover the 3, but I think Buffalo's offense is going to be better than a lot of people think. I think they're very deep at the wide receiver position, and I think Josh Allen is going to be better in the second year than he was in the first. My play on this game is over the total.
Okay, Baltimore at Miami. So I have a rule. When I go through the lines, I just knock out all the road chalk. I feel like road favorites in the NFL, I always tend to overanalyze how good that road favorite is. So it's really easy just to cross it off. But then I look at Baltimore and I go, oh, we all know how bad Miami's going to be. Prez, do you have the guts to lay 7
I
here with
don't.
Baltimore?
And
Me
the thing
neither.
is, it's largely because of the line move. I mean, a week ago, you could have got Baltimore at -4. And that seemed a hell of a lot better a bet to me than this at -7. You know, I was speaking to Carmine Bianco last night about this Baltimore-Miami game specifically. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. Baltimore's defense, especially in the preseason, they look legit. I think Miami is really going to struggle in this game, and I would be surprised if Miami puts up more than 13 points. So let's assume Miami puts up a 13 spot. Can we expect Baltimore to put up 20? I don't know, Kel. I mean, I think their offense is going to be okay, but I think they're going to have early season jitters. They're pulling out a whole new package for Lamar Jackson. Talking about what we spoke about with Philadelphia at -10. I think it's too early to play a Baltimore at this type of a number. I need to see what their offense is going to be like. I think they're going to run the ball, and I think they're going to play a slow tempo style. And with a slow tempo style, I'm not going to take 7 points. I do like the under in this game, but again, it's super low, 37.5. I think this game's got 17-14, 17-10 type of numbers written all over it. I'm going to look at playing the under.
Okay, so I found the stat I was looking for. Can I give it out, or are we done with stats for the day?
Talk to us.
Since 2012, week 1 favorites of 7 points or more, 7-3 against the spread, 7-13 against the spread. Sorry, that's 35%. That comes from our buddy Ralph Michaels at Cal Sports LV, and that's why I'm kind of looking at some of these really ugly dogs. I don't have the guts to play. I'd love to take the points with Miami. I just no cojones over here.
Yeah, and I told you guys in our weekly in the NFL Presidential Address preview show, I'm not going to be on a lot of games Miami is involved in. I do like the under, though, in this one.
All right, next up. So I got my whole list of NFL games I've played. I don't want to miss one. Let's see here. San Fran at Tampa Bay. Pick them, or you can still get one in a couple of spots here around town. 50.5 is the total. I'll tell you a funny story. So Bleacher Report, I work with a lot of young kids. And what I mean by young kids is 10 years or younger than myself.
So like 18.
That's young to me. Like 24.
Don't age yourself, Kel.
And it's okay. I feel great. That being said, one of them is a huge Niners fan. And I feel really bad because I bet him a nickel. I get Tampa Bay +1 over his San Francisco 49ers. Am I an idiot? I'm going to take this kid's rent money. He's that diehard. I feel good about Tampa Bay.
Our job here is to give out
so good that I started Jameis, and I feel so good about Tampa Bay that I started Jameis in our fantasy football league this week.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this. I think Bruce Arians is going to coach Jameis to a good season. I expect Tampa Bay to be better than what people think. You know, our job here is to give out a thought on the side and total of every single game. And, this one is a struggle for me. I do lean on Tampa Bay here as well. I think them playing at home is really the key to this game. And, Derek McKinnon is now out. San Fran is hurting in the backfield. Breida and Coleman. I don't think San Fran has got a really, really world-class wide receiving core. I think their weapon is George Kittle. And as we spoke about in the preview show, I don't know what to make of their quarterback yet. He's got 11 games under his belt. He could easily go on and become the next Matt Ryan, or not easily being the next Tom Brady because, well, that's going to be pretty hard. But this guy could end up being a superstar, and he also could end up being a bust. I'm with you. I like Tampa Bay here. It might make my card, Kel. I will.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting pick, and the thing is, you don't get a lot of pick'em games in the NFL anymore. So all Tampa Bay needs to do is win, and I'm with you. I think they win this weekend.
All right, I just found pick'em -105, so I had to hurry up and bet that. Let me get back on the other screen. All right. Ooh, this is going to be a great game. Kansas City at Jacksonville. Laying 3.5 on the road, total 52. Now, everybody's going to say here we can make fun of VR really quick. VR and I picked against Kansas City so many times last year, and we just got slaughtered on it for social media because I did feel like in several situations they were overvalued. There was a couple of times where it went my way, the Rams particularly, the Broncos particularly. I think this is another spot where it might go my way. We've seen this one come down from 5 to now 3.5. There's still 1-4 here in Vegas. If I could get that 4, I would take it, but they're not going to let me bet there. That's another story. Total 52. Do you like the Jags?
Kel, I find this game very similar to the Rams-Carolina game, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I mean, here you have a team, Kansas City, that people are thinking Super Bowl bound, an offense that is really, really hard to stop. And Jacksonville, a new quarterback, and a defense that I think might be better than last year's defense. You know, is it a trap? Do we outthink this thing? I believe Kansas City is a much better team than Jacksonville. Why is it 3.5? It just makes me nervous. Just like with the LA Rams, this game makes me nervous. You know, the interesting thing here is that the total is so high for a Jacksonville game. And that is what makes me think the line makers are telling you Kansas City is going to cover the spread. I don't know how this game could go over the total of 52 without Kansas City putting up 30 points. I don't think Jacksonville has 30 points in them. And I know Jacksonville is playing a very bad Kansas City defense. I still think they're going to move the ball very, very slowly. I think they're going to dink and dunk all the way down the field. I'm struggling, Kel. I'm passing on this game flat out, but if a gun was held to my head, I would take Kansas City.
Okay, so here we talked about earlier how I have certain rules when I bet the NFL. Do you have any certain rules or any mantras? For example, my thought process here, not only am I getting 3.5 with the home team, I'm getting 3.5 with the better defense. So the kind of little mantra is take the better defense plus the points.
You know, Teddy and I and Dave Koken were talking about this exact thing on the College Football Betting Show, which you can find at our Wager Talk channel, Wager Talk TV at YouTube. And, you know, yeah, okay, I understand that. But the offenses in this regard are so different. I mean, we're not talking about a better quarterback. We're talking about a better quarterback, better wide receivers, a better tight end, a better offensive-minded coach, better play calling. Normally, I accept what you're saying, but I feel like the difference in defense for Jacksonville and Kansas City is massive. The difference in offense for Jacksonville and Kansas City is massive. It's why I lean on Kansas City, but I'm not going to bet this game. I need to see this Jacksonville offense and I need to see this Kansas City defense before I get involved.
Okay. All right. Tennessee at Cleveland. Now, initially I was like, there's no way I want to touch this game. I don't want anything to do with it. I think I'm going to take Tennessee plus the 5.5. Mainly just a play against Cleveland. Now, granted, this did not work for me last year against Kansas City. There's a lot of hype surrounding this Cleveland team. There's a lot of egos. And I do think there's going to be some issues. There might not be issues week 1, but I do like Mike Vrabel and Marcus Mariota is healthy.
Yeah, and look, Derrick Henry coming out of the backfield. They've got a good wide receiving core, and I think they have a top 5 defense. And I'll tell you this, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the season they have a top 1 defense. That's how high I am on Tennessee's defense. I like Tennessee in this game. I think the amount of hype and the amount of pressure on Cleveland, a team that does not have a culture of winning, is immense. And I think Tennessee is going to go into this game very relaxed. I think this game is going to be very slow moving. I think Tennessee is going to play ball control, keep that Cleveland offense off the field. I like Tennessee plus the 5.5. And Kel, I really like under the total. You know, we spoke in the NFL preview show that we did last week that I'm going to be looking to bet Cleveland over, and I'm going to be looking to bet the Tennessee games under. So normally I would stay away from this game because I like the under, and I'm looking to bet Cleveland over. But man, I don't know how many 45.5s we're going to get with Tennessee. I think Tennessee's defense is rock solid. And I think their offense is built to play slow. I am all over Tennessee. I am all over the under, and one of those two plays will make my card.
Awesome. Love to hear that. Okay, next up. Sorry, I'm looking to see if I can get a good number on Tennessee if I still have any 5.5s left. Okay, the Rams at Carolina. Now, we just spoke about this kind of in regards to Kansas City, Jacksonville. You have the better offense traveling all the way east to play a pretty good defense. Christian McCaffrey, Cam Newton, catching 2.5, 3 if you shop around, total of 50. I wanted to initially take the 3 with Carolina. I thought about breaks on this Carolina team. Prez, talk to me about this game.
Super interesting game, Kel. I mean, one of the best stats in the last 20 years is betting against that Super Bowl losing team, and especially when they're on the road. With that said, the Rams played nobody and did nothing during preseason. This team is as well rested a team as you're going to get. Todd Gurley, although beat up coming into the season, is certainly going to be a hell of a lot better than he was against New Orleans last year and in the Super Bowl. I just think the LA Rams are a much better team on both sides of the ball. Their offense is ridiculous. Kupp is back, and I think Kupp is a crucial component to what McVay is doing with that offense and to the comfortableness that Jared Goff might have. With that said, Carolina just shored up their D. Their D looks really good. McCaffrey is unstoppable. Greg Olsen is back, and he's Cam Newton's safety blanket, but he could be out on the first play and in the press box commentating by the second half. I think this is a tough one, Kel, but I do lean on the LA Rams here, especially now that we've had a line move towards Carolina. We could get -2.5 on the Rams. But really, Kel, where I think I'm going to bet this game is on over the total. I think the LA Rams, regardless of who they play, are going to put up an average of 30 to 32 points a game. And I think Carolina is going to be a high-scoring team. I think with McCaffrey coming out of the backfield, I think most defenses are going to have to stack the box. They're going to have to play a 7-man front with a cheating, strong safety. I think there's going to be a lot of man-on-man coverage. And when you've got man-on-man coverage against Brandon Cooks, Kupp, Woods, this is going to be a tough team to defend against. And I think Carolina can score. I think McCaffrey's going to open up the field. I think the wide receivers on Carolina are speedy. And I think if Greg Olsen could be even 70% of what he was in the prime, he's going to give Cam Newton a nice slot receiver. I like over the total of 49.5, 50. It's right there as one of my potential bets for the weekend. Kel, before we get into the late games, let's take a quick commercial break and then get back and talk about the late games Sunday night and Monday night. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. As we spoke about in our last break, we have a promo for Bobby Liggs, $3.99 for his entire season. The promo code is Bobby399. I also just want to make quick mention that I have a 5-unit play up for Sunday in the NFL, and I do not normally start the NFL season with a 5-unit play. I love this play. I'm telling you, I think this is one of the best plays we're going to see all year, and it's in week 1. It's just random that happened. The play is $40 to all of you. You can have it for half price. Just use the promo code PREZ20 over at wagertalk.com. That's PREZ20. Kel, late games. Talk to me.
The ugliest game on the board, and the only reason why it's a late game because it's in Arizona. Detroit at Arizona. Detroit -2.5 now. Total 46.5. I don't even want to talk about this game. It's making me yawn just thinking about what a snooze fest it's going to be. I know everybody's really high on Kyler Murray, but I personally am not. I really don't think this is going to be a great game. This is not a game I want to be involved in. Do you have an opinion?
I do, Kel. But firstly, how do you time your yawn for the right game? Like, a yawn's a yawn. That was impressive.
I didn't mean to, but then I guess I just must have thought in my brain, like, God, is this going to be a snooze fest? Do I even want to watch it? And then subconsciously the yawn came.
Everybody, before I get into it, I just want to let you know we have a slight lag on the sound with Kelly's mouth and her sound. It's a little bit off, and my apologies. Man, like, I'm having internet issues for these shows, and I just don't know how to fix it. I mean, I went and bought a new modem, then I went and bought a net. I'm calling the carrier today to see if I could even put in an ISDN line. I am so frustrated by the sound quality. Like, I'm losing my crap over it, Kel, because we put so much work and effort into these things, and I just want these damn shows to be perfect. So please bear with us, everybody. Detroit, Arizona. Here's the thing, Kel. We saw nothing from Arizona. They ran a nothing offense with their new quarterback, Kyler Murray, and their new head coach, Kingsbury. And what we heard from Larry Fitzgerald was really interesting. He came out and said that in practice, they are running a play every 13 seconds. We saw none of that in preseason. So this Arizona team is holding back. Does that mean that their plan is going to work? I don't know. But the other interesting thing here, Kel, is that Arizona, both their cornerbacks are out. They have one that's suspended and one that's injured. And I think that's where I'm looking. I like over the total in this game. It came out at 48.5. It's been dropped down to 46.5. I think Matthew Stafford and a deep, not heroic, not world-class wide receiving core, but a deep wide receiving core are going to really be able to take advantage of the cornerback trouble that Arizona has. And I don't think Arizona has a really good pass rush either. So I think we're going to see Detroit put up points. And now it comes down to, is this super fast moving offense by Arizona going to be able to keep pace? I don't know the answer to that, which is why I like Detroit and the over in this game, because I know Detroit is going to put up 24 to 28 points. And if Arizona keeps up, it's going over. If they don't keep up, Detroit is going to cover. This is one of those interesting games where if you take Detroit and the over, I think at worst you're going to go 1-1. And I think you'll have a real good shot at 2-0.
All right. Listen, I just mentioned how ugly that game was going to be, but now I'm going to talk about taking the ugliest dog on the board. Cincinnati at Seattle, plus 9.5. I'm going to take it. Total 44. Prez, listen, hear me out. I know you're shaking your head. I'm crazy.
I'm shaking my head because they're the sexiest dog I've ever seen.
It's too many points. This should literally be 7.5, 7 at the very most. The opening number was much more accurate at 9.5. I'm riding with the red rifle. I know no AJ Green. Tyler Eifert's healthy. I mean, it's week 1. I'm going to take the points here.
I am with you 100%. This line is shocking to me. But I'm not taking Cincinnati at plus 9.5. I'm playing against Seattle as a big favorite. And that's really the key right now, because where are they going to get points? I mean, Doug Baldwin's retired. Their number one wide receiver is Tyler Lockett. Their number one running back.
Don't bag on Tyler. He went to K-State.
Okay, whatever. He's a good wide receiver. He made the pros. He's having a good life. He's probably a stud in bed. He's not a world-class number one wide receiver, Kel. And nor is Chris Carson a world-class number one running back. I don't even think Russell Wilson is a world-class number one quarterback. I think he's a winner. I think he's got heart. I think he is probably the best quarterback in the history of the league when plays break down. Who's their tight end? Who is their number 2 wide receiver? Where is this team getting their points from, Kelly? Last year, we saw Seattle with Doug Baldwin lay eggs week after week. There were games where they struggled to get a touchdown. And now they are a minus 9.5 against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's defense is not that bad, Kel. Cincinnati, Tyler Boyd is the best wide receiver on the field.
Did DJ Metcalf get the number 2 spot from Ole Miss? Did he get the number 2 next to Tyler Lockett?
I think we're going to actually find that out in more like week 2 or week 3. Going into the season, he's going to be the number 2. But here's the interesting thing. If you go back and you look at Russell Wilson's career as a quarterback throwing to his number 2, he doesn't even know the guy exists.
You're right.
He had Jermaine Kearse at one point. He had Tyler Lockett last year behind Doug Baldwin. He doesn't even read the number 2 route. So who cares? It's number 1 or run.
You're right.
That's Russell Wilson's mantra, and it rhymes. Number 1 or run. I mean, you can hear how excited I am. Cincinnati plus 9.5 for sure.
Sweet. You know what, Prez? I don't think we've ever agreed this much on a show before. It's going to be a really good week or a really bad week.
It's going to be a really good week, Kel. It's NFL football week 1.
It's going to be a really good week. Week 1 in NFL, I do well in. College football, not so much. Okay, moving along. Indianapolis at the Chargers. The entire media has beat to death the fact that Andrew Luck isn't going to play. I had a bookmaker here at one of the sports books, tell me that he thought Jacoby Brissett was a good backup quarterback. And I kind of laughed. I agree. I don't think he's serviceable. But that being said, this shows Andrew Luck's only worth 3 points to the line. I think that the line, when it originally came out, Andrew wasn't going to play anyway.
I love the Chargers here, Kel, and we spoke about this in the NFL preview show we did last week. I'm high on the Chargers start to finish. But I want everyone to be careful and understand this. Jacoby Brissett is not only he's a really bad backup quarterback. He's a really bad backup quarterback. He is no longer a backup quarterback. He is now a horrific starting quarterback. But
good thing he doesn't watch this show.
He does, actually. He tweeted me. Kel, here's the thing. Indianapolis has an incredible offensive line, and they have a good running game. Marlon Mack is pretty good. I can't pronounce the other guy's name, pretty good. Hines. I think Indianapolis is going to play slow ball like we've never seen before. I don't believe Jacoby Brissett will air the ball up 20 times. I think they're going to run, and I think that's what's going to keep these games going over the total. We have a total of 44.5 on the board. I like under in this game. I think you're going to see the Indianapolis's defense is not bad either, and I think the Chargers are going to play slow too. I like under, but I really do like the Chargers here. I'm struggling to see how Indianapolis scores. I think we're going to get a lot of field goals out of Indianapolis. I think the Indianapolis kicker would be a really good kicker to have in fantasy.
Vinatieri. He's only
I can't believe that guy's still playing.
He's got a silver beard. He's got more silver than you have, Prez.
Prez has no silver. I dye it silver because I give people advice on how to spend their money, and I feel like the older I look, the better. So I'm actually blonde.
Blonde. Yeah. Okay, good.
LA Chargers,
New York
Kel.
Giants. We just talked about. Okay. All right, lay the wood with the Chargers per Prez. New York Giants at Dallas. We just talked about the NFC rivalry. All I can think is you're giving me 7 points in this rivalry game. I don't care how ugly the Giants are. They're the second ugliest dog I'm taking this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, we spoke about this in the Washington-Philadelphia game where these two teams, no matter who plays and no matter who's the starting quarterback, whether it's Phil Simms playing against Hogaboom. Pulled a reference out of my toches. These games are always close, so I am with you 100% on the dog here, and there are a few 7.5s on board. Right now, 5 dimes is 7.5. But Kel, I really like the under in this game. I like the under more than the side. 45.5. Here's the bottom line. I don't care who's playing in the backfield in Dallas. This team is going to move the ball very slowly. I'm not an Amari Cooper fanatic. Their second wide receiver is Galloway. He's on my fantasy team. Who the hell is Galloway? I mean, this.
Then why did you draft him?
Well, because he's their second wide receiver, and I drafted. He's like my ninth wide receiver, sitting on the bench, Kel. Barkley is going to run the ball all game long, and Dallas's defense is really, really good. Kel, I would not be surprised if this game has 17-10, 17-6, 13-6.
Every time they play.
45.5 is a massive number for the style that these two teams play. It's a massive number for this rivalry. It's a massive number with Dallas's defense. One of my favorite plays on the board, under the total in the Dallas-New York Giants game.
All right, Sunday night, Pittsburgh at New England. It's now down to 5.5. Some spots here in Vegas, you can still get a 6 at a couple of shops. 50s across the board. Okay, I'm going to say it. I'm done betting against Belichick and Brady in Foxborough. I've done it before. I have to make it a new rule. I'm tired of the mental abuse. Probably tired of laying points with them in Foxborough as well, as I mentioned with the Chiefs last year. Somehow I didn't cover that game. I think I'm just going to sit back and watch this game.
Kel, there's no better team to bet in the last 10 years than the New England Patriots. They are money in the bank. They are over 60% in covering the spread. As a home favorite on Sunday night, 7-12. Why do you think that is?
There's just too much. I think the bookmakers just know that people are going to bet the favorite and the over on Sunday night. So maybe they juice the Patriots. I don't know. They know they're going to get Patriots money no matter what, so they put in a premium.
I got to pass on this game, Kel. I can make arguments for both sides. I think Pittsburgh's going to play to the over. I think New England's going to play to the under. I think Pittsburgh is good enough to hang with New England. I think the line is too big, but I won't play against Belichick. You asked if I have rules. That's my rule. I do not play against Bill Belichick. If a gun was held to my head, I'm on the over, but I'm going to pass on this game.
I'm shocked at how many times we agree today. This never happens. All right, moving along, Monday night, Houston at New Orleans. Now down to 7 from 7.5. Total 53. You can still get 52.5 across the board. Listen, Sean Payton, we know, tends to lay eggs in game 1 and game 2, especially at home.
Five in a row, Kel.
I don't know if that's enough for me to take Houston or not. I'm considering taking Houston. But right now I'm just kind of like just treading water with this game going, we'll see how Sunday goes first.
I really like this game. Here's my thoughts. Okay. Firstly, 5 years in a row, New Orleans has laid a complete egg in their first game. Last year was abysmal. Tampa Bay walked in and this is out of memory, Tampa Bay was
huge.
+8. Won the game outright.
They were a huge dog.
Never played another good game all
Tampa
year.
Bay. Oh, they did too. There was like 5 or 6 good games in a row for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I won money on it.
I know Fitzpatrick had a great start to the season. That goes back to that Miami game that were against Baltimore. I mean, Jesus, who the hell knows? But here's what I know. I'm going to play against New Orleans, but I'm more interested in playing on Houston here. The bottom line for me is, and I said this in our preview show, if I get Houston as a dog over 3, I don't care who they're playing, I am taking them. I am high on Houston this year. I think they got a good, their wide receiving core is ridiculous. They got the best wide receiver in all of football in Hopkins. They got a great slot receiver in Fuller. They got a decent tight end. They got Deshaun Watson is a really good quarterback. He doesn't have a great pass completion percentage, but he is so dangerous, especially after the play breaks down, especially outside the pocket. This guy can run like Cam Newton. Their defense is outstanding. Their front seven is really good. You know, Houston's number one issue, period, is on their offensive line. And I think that matches up really well against New Orleans because although I think New Orleans' defense is okay, I don't think they have any real crazy pass rushers. Could you imagine if Houston's offense had to play Houston's defense? I think Deshaun Watson would get killed. But New Orleans isn't Houston's defense. I really like +7. I mean, Kel, if New Orleans is up by 10 with 2 minutes to go and Houston has the ball, Houston covers this number.
I agree with that.
I think you're going to need to get New Orleans playing at their best to cover 7 against a good Houston team, and they are never at their best in week 1.
I agree with that. Okay. Well, last but not least, hey, how are we doing on time? Did I win my bet?
Oh, Kel, we're only at 45 minutes. You will lose your bet.
Dang it. Okay. Monday night, late game, Denver, last game at the Black Hole for the Broncos. This one's down now to a pick'em in a ton of spots, except at the square books, as we like to call them. They're still holding on to their one. Total of 43. I took the Broncos +2.5 a while ago. I had to. And now I feel pretty sharp about it. We'll see how it plays out. I'm higher on Broncos. I do have to say I am a Broncos fan, blah, 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 blah. But the Raiders are coming to Vegas, so I do think that the Raiders get a lot more love from the bookmakers than they have in years past. So I thought there was value there. That being said, I think it's going to be a great game. Prez.
I don't know how you define a great game when two shit teams play to a 6-3 game. Okay, that's a great game. When two really good teams play to an 80-point game, okay, that's a great game. I do not define this as a great game by any stretch. I think it's a perfect 10:30 game. Everyone's going to be tired. Nobody will make it to the second half because it will be so bloody boring. But I like Denver. I like Denver here, Kelly. I like Denver's defense. I think Chubb and Miller are going to be all over Derek Carr. I said this at the beginning. I said this in our NFL preview show. I don't understand the Antonio Brown pickup. This guy is a deep threat receiver. Carr does not throw the ball deep. Carr lacks patience. Carr gets rid of the ball very quickly. I think this is going to be a game where Carr is going to be hurried at least 50% of the time. I see pick sixes. I see fumbles. I am all over Denver in this game, and that's not because of Denver's offense. I don't know what to make of Denver's offense right now. They have no wide receivers, a mediocre running game, a quarterback that, well, he could be over 2, 3, 4, 5 hills. Might have been over the Grand Canyon.
He's that old.
Well,
huh?
it's not about old. Brady's
older.
Brady's older. Breeze is older. Rivers is older.
Peyton Manning did it.
Everybody ages differently. Look at the Prez, a 50-year-old specimen, a man with biceps from the gods, a pectoral spectacular. Okay, Kelly, you did not have to lean back in the middle of me praising myself, damn it.
Sorry, I was laughing oh, Prez.
So we all age differently, and Flacco is old. With that said, we've seen resurgences before. We'll see him again. I like Denver in this game, and I like them a lot. Kel, that's the show. It was awesome.
That is a show.
What's going on for you today?
It was awesome. We've got Wager Talk videos. I got Bet On It podcasts. I've got my podcast that I do with John Murray over at the Westgate. And then I got proxy signups. It is, I have a 12-hour day today.
Guys, I promise you that I will have the sound fixed perfectly for next week. I swear I will do everything. I will leap over tall buildings. I don't know what the Superman thing is, but I will have the sound fixed. Please comment on our YouTube channel, but don't beat me up over the sound. It's too hard on me. I get so upset. I don't want to hear one single negative comment about the sound. Kel, make sure that VR and Marco know that I spoke very highly of their great, incredible, must-listen to NFL show called Bet on It. Bet on It. That's not beat it, beat it on, beat on it. It's Bet on It.
Why are you're a mess.
Make sure they know that I gave them a lot of love.
Do you want me to give you some love on that show? Is that why you're telling me all
No,
this?
I want them to give me the love.
I can't promise that. I can promise you because I get to say whatever I want, but I can't promise you they're going to give you love.
Okay. Well, I want some love, damn it. Great show.
Okay.
Guys, thanks so much for listening. Kelly, you're off the screen now, so you can walk away, do anything you want, drink your water, throw your hands up in the air, scream as if you just don't care. We'll see you all next week. I'm the Prez. Hulk Hogan dab, pectoral flex, nose maneuver. See you next week.